Hey, hey everybody. Thanks so much for joining me. Today is 29 of my 30-day live challenge, and I'm excited to be on today to talk to you. I'm going to keep it short and sweet, so it shouldn't be longer than 10 minutes. I hope you are doing well. Hey, Miss Dixon. Thanks so much for joining. Hey, Mr. Cole. So we're talking about how to prepare for an interview. If you are an author and you are looking to spread your message, you've had your book launched and now you have had your book for a little while now. So you want to, start sharing the message about your book. Here are a few ways to prepare for your interviews, whether it be a radio interview, podcast interview, and even magazine interviews. These are some things to think about. The first thing is that you want to make sure that if you're pursuing the interview or if someone's reached out to you, you want to make sure it's a good fit. Just because someone asks you to come on to talk about your book doesn't mean it's necessarily a good fit. I remember in the beginning of my author career, someone asked me to be a guest on their podcast. So I was excited. And I got all, dressed up, ready to go and everything. And when I got to the place, it was kind of weird. And I was waiting for a long time. And then the office space wasn't really professional and I smelled weed, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, wait, I don't feel like this is the right place for me, right? I started getting some signs like this is not a good space for you. And it was not, had nothing to do with my platform, but it was it was like an entertainment option. It was an entertainment podcast and they were just, focusing on authors, but it was just really kind of weird and shady. And I felt this weird feeling like I was like, I need to go. I need to go. So, and I was glad that I brought my sister with me because it was really weird. And I was like, I'm going to get out of here because it just was not anything that I felt like should represent me in a good way. I saw, previous podcasts and it looked okay. But when I got there, I just felt really weird. And so I ended up leaving. And they said, well, maybe you can come back later. I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe. But I was like, no, I had to get out of there because it wasn't the right fit. Just because someone invites you to do an interview, a podcast, it's not necessarily for you, right? So do your research. And even after you do your research, if you get somewhere and you just feel like something's not right, don't be afraid to say, this is not a good fit for me. Okay. So the first thing is to do your research and listen to the podcast and make sure this podcast has your ideal audience, right? Because what's the use of going to a sports podcast, right? If you're talking about gardening, it doesn't align. Make sure that the podcast will align with your core message from your book. The next thing is usually they want more information about you. So you have to send your bio and send your headshot. So make sure you have a professional headshot. If you're an author, then you should have a professional headshot because when you published your book, you needed a headshot for your book cover, right? For the back of your book cover under the author section, right? So use your headset, not headset, but your photo. Also, if you have a speaker one sheet or if you have electronic press kit, either one will do. So each, podcast host may ask you for something different, but typically they always ask for a picture. They may want to do promotion videos or something like that. So make sure that you have your professional photo, at least a short bio, which you will have if you are an author of a book because you need that for your book cover. And the next thing is to practice. So write out 5 to 10 questions that are commonly asked questions regarding your book. Like, for instance, what is your book about? Have a very clear, succinct summary, 2 to 3 sentences about what your book is about. You don't want to go on and on. You want to be very clear and to the point. You want to know a question like they may ask you, who is your target audience, right? They may ask you, what motivated you to write this book? And they may ask you, what are your goals regarding this book? Right? So make sure that you beforehand practice, write out some questions, and you can also include this with your speaker one sheet, like 10 questions, 10 commonly asked questions about you, your brand, and your book. Okay. So when you have that and rehearse, sometimes maybe ask a family member or a friend to go over the interview questions with you so that you are clear, to the point, and you're able to ask the questions and you're not just thrown off guard and you don't know what words to find. But if you practice this, you're able to be prepared when you have your live interview. The next question is, make sure they have an easy way to contact you. So if you have your website, your name, www.sharhalliburton.com, or you could have your book, www.skyrocketyoursuccess.com, but make sure it's an easy way for someone to contact you, because a lot of times you'll go somewhere and you hear people talking about their website or email address 5_32789, and you're like, what did you say? Make sure that your contact information is very clear and people are able to find you and locate you or call you or contact you on social media. Make sure those handles are very clear, concise, and they're consistent so people can find you. Because like I said, it's nothing like a complicated email address or a complicated social media handle, and people can't find you. So make sure that your information is clear and concise and consistent on all social media channels. Okay, and then the next thing is when you get to the interview, make sure that you are dressed appropriately for the interview. Depending on, the target audience or whatever, make sure that you're dressed appropriately for the interview. And if it's a visual interview, because there are a lot of video interviews now, but if it's just an audio interview, make sure you speak loud and clear so that your audience can hear you. And also, after the interview is done, thank the host and send a thank you message. You can send an email or however you communicate with them initially, but make sure that you send them a thank you note. You can also mail them a thank you note. And then make sure that you have links for your books available. So again, make sure you have an easy link. If you don't have your website created, you can create a bit.ly link. That's bit.ly. You can find that free in your Google dashboard, but bit.ly. Get that link, or if you have a link on just Amazon, go to Amazon, get the link from Amazon, and then also create a short link so that it's easy for people to purchase your book. And then after the interview is over, after you thank the host, then repurpose the content. Share it on your social media channels, share it with your email list. Make sure that you're able to get this information out, because of course everybody's not going to show up for your interview. So make sure that you can share this. This information is important. It helps to spread your message, your core message about your book. So make sure that you are repurposing this information by, again, sending it to your email list, posting on social media on all different channels. You can change up the colors with Canva, make a post, change up the colors with a post. And you can also use, there is an app called, what is that app? I use it all the time too. I'm going to put it in the comments. I don't know why I can't think of that app right now, but the app, what it does is it cuts down your videos to like 60 seconds or less. You can pick the time, and then it'll create a graphic so that you can share it on social media and also play, like 60 seconds of your video from your interview. Let me see if I can think of the name of that app. And I was using it all the time too. I can't think of it right now, but I'll put it in the comment section below. So again, let me just review the things that we talked about. Make sure that the podcast that you're going to interview with, make sure it's a good fit for your target audience and your subject matter. Make sure that you submit your bio, headshot, or a speaker one sheet or electronic press kit so they can find out more information about you, because 9 times out of 10 they're going to create a graphic to promote the interview. And make sure you share that graphic on your social media channels, send it to your email list so people will know that they can hear you live on your interview. If they miss it, they'll be able to go back and hear the replay. Practice with potential questions. Write out a list of 5 to 10 questions about your book, your brand, and your business, and then go over those questions. Practice and rehearse with family or friends so that when you do have these interviews, you'll be ready and you'll be sharp when it comes to answering the questions. And make sure that you know your motivation. Why did you write this book? Make sure you go over questions and answers like that so that when they ask you those questions, you'll already have an answer for them. And make sure you have easy ways for them to reach out to contact you to purchase your book. Make sure you have your book links available, because sometimes they ask you to send the book link because they put it in the show notes for their podcast. They put your bio, photo, and then they put your links to connect with you in their show notes. And also, don't forget to thank them for inviting you on their podcast. And then also repurpose the content that you use and your video content that you have from the interview. Okay, so I hope these tips were helpful to you. Again, today is day 29 of 30-day live challenge. Tomorrow is day 30. I'm so excited that I got through 30 days to, going live, getting back in the habit of going live. So I appreciate you watching the live videos and the replay. If you have questions, again, if you're looking to self-publish a nonfiction book and you need help, please feel free to reach out to me. You can send me a direct message, or you can email me at hello@sharhalliburton.com. Again, it's hello@shar, S-H-A-R, Halliburton, H-A-L-L-I, B like boy, URTON.com. Thanks so much, and I look forward to hearing from you. And tomorrow I'll see you, and it'll be day 30, so can't wait. All right, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.